Do you know why people are asking for more taxes for the rich? It's because of things like this. One would think that after spending a fortune on a car, the owners would treat it with much more respect. However, it seems that no matter how expensive an automobile is, it can still be abandoned by its owner for various reasons. In this video, we'll be looking at 7 of the most expensive cars that were abandoned by their owners. Now, just to be clear, we won't be talking about the cars that were deliberately kept for a long period of time, no. We're talking about those that were outrightly abandoned, mostly found in weird and unusual places. Before we begin, we publish videos every single week, so be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you get notified when we drop a new video. Number 1. The Jaguar XJ220. The XJ lineup for Jaguar represents their super luxury model, so apart from their vintage cars, the most expensive Jaguars belong in the XJ lineup, one of which, of course, is this Jaguar XJ220. Not only is this car expensive, costing around $500,000, but it's also very rare. In fact, so rare that it was only made 280 times. So you can understand our shock when a car that's this expensive and rare was found abandoned in a desert in Qatar. One would think that maybe it was abandoned because it got faulty, and the owner didn't want to go for the stress of towing it out of the desert. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, upon close inspection, the car showed no damage whatsoever, apart from its really dirty look after getting beaten by the desert sand and the sun's scorching heat. According to the car's odometer, the car had only been driven for 600 miles, so not only was this car expensive and rare, but it was also pretty newly gotten by its owner. Why such a car was abandoned is still a mystery to us. However, what we do know is that rich people sure do a lot of weird stuff. Number 2. Enzo Ferrari. The Enzo Ferrari is one that has been tagged by automobile fans as a supercar. With only 399 originally built, this car, like the Jaguar XJ220, is quite rare. However, it's twice as expensive as the Jaguar, being over $1 million at the time of purchase for this particular model. This Enzo Ferrari was spotted at an impound lot in Dubai. It was claimed to be owned by an Englishman who was a shady person. Apparently, the man ran into some trouble in the country and had to flee, leaving behind this ridiculously expensive car. After a while, the car was hijacked by another criminal and was driven far, far away. The whereabouts of this particular car is still unknown today. Number 3. Ferrari Dino 246 GTS. As kids, we often played in our backyard digging up the ground to find something that's at least remotely valuable. Most of the time, however, we ended up with empty matchboxes and broken dreams. Not for these kids, though. In 1978, some kids were playing in their backyard when they found some plastic sheeting sticking out of the ground. The curious boys decided to dig in further, and to their greatest surprise, there was a new Ferrari Dino 246 GTS just lying there. The family had just moved into this house, and so upon the boys' discovery, their parents made a call to the authorities, who came to excavate the boys' findings. Authorities were able to find a VIN number, which led them to the insurance company, and then to the person who the insurance was issued to. Which leads us to quite a funny story. So after investigation, it was alleged that the owner of the car had hired thieves to steal the car and throw it into the ocean so he could claim the insurance on it. However, the thieves had other brighter ideas. They instead desired to bury it. That way, the man gets his insurance and they can come to dig it out and make some more money by selling the car. Honor amongst thieves, you say? We think not. The car was later auctioned off after the incredible story was made available to the public. A young Californian mechanic bought it off and returned the car to its former glory. He was able to return everything to factory settings and even entered the car into various car shows. Talk about rising from the dead. Number 4. Ferrari F40. The Ferrari F40 is one of the most popular Ferrari models in history. And no, it's not just because the name sounds sports car-ish. It's actually because the car is really good. With its twin-turbo V8 engine, this car is able to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.5 seconds, clocking at a top speed of 201 miles per hour. Of course, with specs and the looks that the Ferrari F40 has, it is adored by many, one of whom was Uday Hussein, Saddam Hussein's eldest son. During the time of the first Gulf War, Saddam Hussein copped himself one of these. When the US invaded Iraq, Hussein kept this car in a garage in Erbil, where it was having some work done on it. After the war broke out, Hussein had his mind on much more important things than his supercar, so this car remained abandoned for many years after his death. Speaking of Uday Hussein, though, it was very well known that he loved cars and was a collector of them. In fact, there's a popular story about Saddam Hussein once burning down his collection of cars to punish Uday. This collection had over 100 luxury cars, including Ferraris, Bugattis, and the likes. He quickly rebuilt this collection though, and a quick search online will show you a number of different abandoned vehicles that were recovered by the US military that belonged to him. Number 5. Bugatti Type 57S. This 1937 two-seat Adelante was originally owned by Earl Howe, the first president of the British Racing Drivers Club, who used the car for about 8 years, after which it was sold. It changed owners a number of times until it finally settled in the hands of Dr. Harold Carr, who purchased the vehicle in 1955. This owner then drove this car for a few years, after which he left it parked in his garage. The car was left in his garage for about half a decade, until its owner, Dr. Harold Carr, passed on. At the time, the car was still carrying its original body and engine, so of course, it was a huge deal for many car collectors because only 17 of this model were ever produced. So there was an auction for the car where it sold for a ridiculous $3,893,741 and 23 cents. Number 6. Porsche 911. The first Porsche on our list is the legendary 911. It has been around since 1963. In the Porsche Museum, you would find one of the oldest ever made Porsche 911s. For a long time prior to this, Porsche was dying to get its hand on one of these oldies but goldies, to no avail. But in the year 2014, a TV crew was valuing a collection of items found in an abandoned barn in Germany. They found this car alongside another classic Porsche car. Once they found these vehicles, they immediately contacted the Porsche Museum. After running a check, they discovered that the chassis number 300.057 belonged to the original 911 models before they were renamed. It is rumored that Porsche ended up paying in excess of $120,000 to retrieve this vehicle. Because it was abandoned in the barns for so long, the Porsche needed a facebeat. The total transformation of the vehicle took a total of 3 years to complete, after which the car was displayed to the public for the first time ever in the Porsche Museum, where it was displayed between December 14, 2017 and April 8, 2018. Number 7. Lamborghini Miura. The shipping magnate Aristotle Onassis was not only famous for marrying the widow Jacqueline Kennedy, but also for having more money than his native country, Greece, has today. With that much money, he was easily able to acquire a Lamborghini Miura back in 1969. He didn't drive it himself though, as he gave it to Stamatis Kokotas, who was an accomplished rally driver. After driving this car for a whopping 52,000 miles, its V12 gave up in 1972. The engine was then sent back to Lamborghini while the car was parked in an underground car park in Athens while it was to be repaired. However, they didn't pay Lamborghini, who just kept the engine. After a while, they forgot all about the car, and 30 years later, it was still at that underground car park. In 2012, after the engine was finally replaced, it was put up for auction, with its bidding stalled at $483,210. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. If there's any expensive abandoned car we forgot, please tell us down in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next video.
Listen!